Thank you so much, Sandile. Well, at the moment, thunderstorms developing on the Highveld and continuing to push further eastwards for some areas. So wet roads possible for some of the holiday makers heading out to their destinations at the moment. And our satellite imagery showing these speckled clouds that have developed over the area. Those are the individual thunderstorms that are currently in place on the Highveld. And we're keeping a closer eye for some areas on the Mpumalanga Highveld. We can see those are more intense at the moment. So if you're traveling around the Ermelo area towards Mkondo, you can expect heavier thunderstorm activity within those parts. So this is your rainfall probability map for the rest of this Friday. Scattered thunderstorms within the areas where we see all of that development taking place, including over southern Gauteng. So if you're traveling on the major highways out of the province towards the south, you could very likely encounter some wet weather, and that continues into parts of the Free State towards Van Riemen's Pass. We could see some thunder showers, and as mentioned, parts of southern Mpumalanga very active at the moment. In addition to that, a little bit of coastal rain returning to some areas this evening, including parts of KwaZulu-Natal's coastline, especially in the south towards the Wild Coast in the Eastern Cape and the Garden Route, where light rain or drizzle will be returning to those parts later on. Let's look at a broader view of what happens over South Africa for the rest of today and tomorrow. Thunder showers persisting well into tonight onto parts of the Highveld. Light rain, as we've already seen, for some areas along the coast where it becomes increasingly cloudy. Those conditions continue into tomorrow morning. There will be foggy areas for some areas in the south as well as over KwaZulu-Natal and Mpumalanga. So if you are driving tomorrow morning to your holiday destinations, be aware that you could have reduced visibility because of the fog for the first half of the morning. And then into the afternoon, the coastal areas will be dry, but thunder showers are likely once again for parts of the Highveld. A somewhat better chance into the interior of KwaZulu-Natal, and another sweltering hot day tomorrow for parts of central South Africa. Winds picked up this afternoon all across the western coastline of the country as well as the interior of the Cape provinces, and we've had fresh winds along the eastern Cape coastline, but for most areas winds will be dying down overnight, although we will see gusty weather reaching the KZN coastline into the early parts of tomorrow morning. Then into the afternoon, we have moderate winds over South Africa, nothing out of the ordinary for this time of the year. Fresh winds along the west coast, and although Richards Bay will see fresh winds, Durban can expect moderate wind speeds for tomorrow at about 20 kilometers per hour. Overnight temperatures warm all across the central and eastern parts of the country, where they stay mostly in the high teens and lower 20s, while it will be cool overnight towards the western interior. And then for tomorrow afternoon, very hot for the northern parts of the country. Mahikeng 35 degrees, Johannesburg gets above 30 degrees Celsius, and we see extremely hot conditions into the northern Cape while it stays mild in the south. And taking a look at Georgia over the next couple of days for holiday makers on the Garden Route, we're going to have a little bit of morning and evening light rain tomorrow, but then a period of dry weather for the second half of the weekend as well as on Tuesday. Humid conditions on Monday and Tuesday when it's going to be uncomfortably warm, 27 degrees. And then on Wednesday it will be cooler with a bit of light rain as well. Sunday brings a few thunder showers to the Highveld as well as into KwaZulu-Natal. A few drops still possible for a warm Port Elizabeth. And then for the last day of the long weekend, we're going to have thunderstorms across the central and eastern parts. Those will be isolated, so we're not going to see lots of rain, just patchy thunder showers in the afternoon, and it's going to be another sweltering hot day for much of the country's interior. That's all from the Weather Centre. Joel will be with you later for another update.